Greetings, comrades! My name is DimAurora, and welcome back to From the Depths. Now, as you can tell, I'm having a little bit too much fun with my Russian accent today. Why? Because it's Halloween, damn it. I have to have something scary, and it's scary how bad it is. But anyways, today we have the From the Depths, From the Shadows campaign, and, well, I will not be playing it. I will be showing off some of the very, very well-made designs, as we see back here. Woo! Now, these are all Halloween themed, they're all quite funny, and I love all of them, so here we go. First off, we have a thing called the Baba Yaga. I do not fully understand, but it is the witch that we saw in the loading screen, or in the menu screen. And here it is. It does not fly very well. Or it may just be because I spawned it in too low, but it has issues. And there it goes, flying away on its broom. Now, the face of this one is very well made, in my opinion. If we could get it to sit still, that would be fantastic. But this one is one of my favorites because of just how funny it looks. Okay, we're giving up the Russian accent. So this one has a little gun in its hat, it's quite adorable, and it just flies around having its fun day. So that one, I'd give that one a pretty good rating. Now let's move on in the middle of a lag storm. Next up we have something called the Bone Drake. Now this one is a flyer. So we're gonna spawn it up here. This one does not fly very well though, so incoming water impact and sploosh. So this one is meant to be a ramming vessel. As we can tell, it has tons of rams on the front. I think its missiles are harpoon based. And yeah, this one is very interestingly made. It doesn't fly well, as I said, but it's just like any of my thruster craft would be. It's too front heavy, and thus the thrust is thrown off. So it does have an interesting little jaw in the front that does come down when you spawn it in, so it clamps onto things, I think. So that's really cool. This one is an interesting design. I am quite fond of it. Let's move on. How can I not love something named the Bone Zone? This thing is awesome. I love it. It's really cool. So it has two skulls that are very nicely made. This one on the front is just like it would be on a regular sailing ship, and then you have this one in the back, which is just demonic and has its tongue out for some reason. So this one has a pretty large main cannon and then a little anti-aircraft, I'm guessing. So this one is fairly useful in battle? Question mark. But most of all, it's just got the design that's really cool. It's got a skeletal rib cage on the bottom, which admittedly screws over any hydrodynamics. So it's not going to be the fastest ship, but it looks really, really cool. It's also got these little bones back here, so that is awesome. But let's move on to more. There's so much to see here. Now we have something called the Candy Corn Cruiser, which in the middle of a lag storm right now is something that actually looks kinda like something I might build. So let's spawn it in the middle of a lag storm. So here it is. This one is really cool in my opinion. It has two candy corns strapped together and then two just like little propulsion units. So that's the really cool part, and then we have the black superstructure and main firing system. I'm also very, very sorry for the lag. It's just coming in random bursts. As you can see right now, it's not here. So it has 4 large main turrets and an anti-aircraft system. So this one's really cool. Now, why did I say it looks like mine? Look at this bridge. Just look at this bridge. This is something I would build on one of my bridges. I also laughed in the middle of saying this, so it sounded really, really weird. Hey, it's Halloween, I can do scary stuff. So this one, overall, really cool, especially for the hull design. I'm really liking it. But let's see more to offer. Next up, we have the Crow. Now, this is something that was actually in the April Fools, I think. I'm really thinking so, because when you look at it, it is what replaced the flying squirrel. And it's just retextured, but honestly that's okay, because this one's really cool. Also, it flies like crap. So, into the water it goes. So we're actually going to lift you out of the water so we can see. Now, one interesting issue that you can see if you look at the eyes right now is that I can make this thing's eyes glitch out. It makes the blocks right next to it disappear, which is interesting, but it might be intentional. Actually, I think that's glass that's colored, so that might be why. Who knows? But this one is really cool for the eye aesthetic. I really like how this one was built in the first place. Yeah, this replaced the flying squirrel in the April Fool's Day stuff. So overall, pretty cool flyer. But there's a lot more to see, so let's keep going. Alright, this one is honestly one of my favorites from this little event thing. This is the Ghost pirate ship. This one is so cool in my opinion. I give all the kudos to whoever made this one. For one, absolutely disturbing face on the front. Two, when this thing moves, you will see part 2. So let's actually set it to move really quickly. So go over there. Now, they made this perfectly. The smoke is almost the perfect length when it's moving, and of course it has its ups and downs when it's trying to stabilize itself because it is a hovercraft. But look at this. Look at this thing. This thing is awesome. It looks like it's floating on a cloud when it's doing... Yeah, right now. Look at that. Oh, it's so cool. Now this one is armed with some pretty nice stuff. It's got a missile launcher there and it's broadsider, but I like the aesthetic of these more than the combat capabilities, because look at this thing. The face on the front, again, is disturbing to say the least. So that's a major bonus right there. And then all of these cool design features, such as the little lanterns. It's just so cool. This one's my favorite, if you couldn't tell. But anyways, let's move on and I will stop being biased. Next up, we have the Grave Danger. This one is obviously twin guard based, and this one is so cool looking. Now, it does have a little bit of problem with the sub-vehicle spawner, but that's okay, it instantly gets corrected. And here we see why it's twin guard based. Now you have the little hole. I don't know if this is meant to represent anything. It looks like a coffin, I suppose. And again, really cool frickin' skulls here. Also a really cool frickin' skull. Now this one's really cool. It's got the lungs and the heart within it, if you can tell it's a skeleton. And the heart is explosive. It has tons and tons of ammunition in there. So I guess it's a little bit true to real life. The heart is very sensitive. Now it even has the shoulder blades. It has all these cool features to it. But my favorite, particle cannon nose. That's just so funny to me. They stuffed a particle cannon in there. But yeah, this one, again, really, really cool looking. I like the aesthetic of these. I love what people have done to build these. And again, this event is a lot cooler than I thought it would be. But let's keep going on. Next up, we have the Headless Swimmer. Now, this one is slightly disturbing. Why? Well, looks kind of like a swimmer, right? Well, say hello to a hacked off head and an exposed spinal column that's made of a cram cannon. So this one is really cool. I like the aesthetic of it. I like the way it moves. It actually moves very reliably somehow. It turns very well. But, hello Lagstorm, my old friend. The one thing I have that freaks me out about this one is that the upper torso is fairly large, and then you have this, like, really, really skinny waist. The hell? Have you been wearing too many corsets? I think you've been wearing too many corsets. But again, this one's really cool, and there's so much more to see, so let's keep on moving. Here we have my favorite for the adorable factor. Now this one is just so cute. I love it. It's so funny looking. It's a flying witch hat. How can you not love a flying witch hat with a particle cannon, by the way? That's its main armament. That's just for decoration up there. It flies, it floats over something, it shoots it with a particle cannon. So, tiny adorable witch hat. Plus points for cuteness factor. This thing is just awesome. But there's a lot of actually disturbing stuff ahead, so let's continue on. Here we have the first of many pumpkin-themed vessels. Vehicle vessels? Yeah, that's what I was about to say. This one is, well, it's kind of a flyer. I think it just flies because the propellers on the bottom make it jump out of the water. But it's got a cannon stem. It's so cool. Its face is carved better than anything I could carve, and this is in a voxel game, so oh boy. This one's just funny. It also has little missiles, I think. Yeah, it does. It has torpedoes. Are those torpedoes? Yeah, those are mini torpedoes. So, again, this one is really cool looking. I like it. I like the aesthetic of all these. Hello, me. You just glitched through me in the middle of a lag storm. But, again, let's keep going. So many cool things to see. Here we have the Nuka Lantern. Now this one is an interesting vessel because it has no form of self-propulsion, so we're going to drop it up really high. And look at this thing. It's got two faces. It's glowing from the inside. It's got a really cool looking stem. But again, this one's just basically a bomb. Why? It has no form of propulsion, and if you go inside, you'll see that there are lots of nukes in here. I mean, lots of nukes in here. And it has a self-destruct mechanism. So this one, you throw at your enemy, it's like a giant hand grenade. But again, really cool design. I'm really excited for seeing more of these. And yeah, let's continue forth with our Halloween adventure. Look at it staring up at the sky. So relaxing. Here we have a vessel simply known as the Pumpkin Chunkin. Now this one is obviously based off of the Trebuchet Catapult Air Cannon Challenge to see how far you can fling a pumpkin. Except in this case, it's a 3-hole vessel with a really cool way of separating them, because that's actually underwater when it submerges. We'll see that in a second, and there it goes. So that's underwater actually, and it's very, very interesting design. I like it. It's got the main pumpkin, of course. The face is a little bit odd compared to the others, but it's definitely not bad. Much better than I could do, by far. And it looks like it has a little crown, even though that's meant to be like a stem or something. So it's got two little guns on the sides, obviously meant to look like something, but I'm obviously missing it. And then we have the main two cannons coming out of its mouth. We also have tons of little missiles everywhere. So this thing is honestly just a fun little vehicle. Fun to look at. I don't think it would do well in combat. But again, I don't think many of these would do well in combat. As we can see, the shield's freaking out because I don't think it has enough interest or enough enough energy. Yeah. Whew. Continuing on. Voice crack. Fuck. Now we have the Pumpkin Submarine. Now you will see that I skipped over the Pumpkin Cruiser. Why? Because it's basically the exact same thing as the Pumpkin Chunkin. So we're just skipping over that and going right to the Pumpkin Submarine. Now this one is really interesting looking. It has a really big stem, and unlike the others, its face is actually, I guess, plastered on instead of cut in, which is an interesting design. I will give it that. And well, it's a little bit back heavy, and this is meant to be going somewhere. So when it moves, it'll right itself. But for right now, it doesn't have the capability to. So, it's an interesting little design. The edges are a bit weird, but that's perfectly okay for what this is. It's just meant to be a little submarine. It's got a little has a tiny little smoke generator right there. And then it's obviously got its main cannon. So this one, interesting design, unlike the others, but definitely not bad. So let's see some more. Now we have a thing called the Shadow Portal. I do not know what altitude to spawn this at, so I'm just going to spawn it here. That's why. It's a fortress. So it's a little bit high up for a fortress. Okay, it's too high up for a fortress. Let's try that again. Oops. I was thinking it was a flyer for some reason, but it's not. So down here. There we go. That's better. Alright, this thing is really, really cool just for the aesthetic of it. It has absolutely no use in combat. And this is why I thought it was a flyer, because I saw the propellers earlier. But I should have guessed that it was just a fortress instead. So this has a little missile launcher up here. It has a ton of smoke generators on the inside of this, I think, making smoke. So that comes out the top and makes it look really cool. Now, the really cool factor about this one is the way they made the glass. Now, the glass is so cool in this situation. It's just very, very simple design, but the way it is lit does make it look kind of like a portal. So, really, really cool design, really, really useless. But that's not the point. We're here to enjoy the aesthetic of these. But let's see more. I think there's just a couple more to go through. Alright, we are on our final 7, and this is called the Shakyushin. It's very, very Russian sounding. But let's see what... Okay. This one, yeah, I stopped looking at them before the Shadow Portal. I hadn't seen the Shadow Portal, so all this stuff is new to me as well. Oh, that is just creepy, and whoever spent this much time coloring this and making this, all the kudos. All of them. Because holy crap, this one is very, very well made. Whew. Okay, floating human head. That is very human-esque, except demon-esque, because they also made that shielding very well made. Because, yeah, it's pitch black, hides everything within, and if you look at it in some directions, there's the tiny little rod that comes out of the shield generator, so that makes it look like very, very tiny pupils. I don't know if that was intentional, it probably wasn't, but again, this one, absolutely terrifying. Oh boy. This one's just funny. I have to do it, even though it's not really different. Oh, it's so neon. Oh, it's so neon and vibrant. Oh god. I like it, but oh, it's kinda hard on the eyes. So this one's just a reskin of the main fortress, if you couldn't tell that. Really bright and vibrant. Exactly the Halloween spirit, right? Next up, we have a little vessel known as the Sweet Teeth. So let's spawn this little guy in. Oh, it's funny. Oh. It's not so funny, it's got teeth in the front. Oh. The jaw actually moves. That's slightly scary. And is this made to look like something like a canine? Because if so, that's one big tooth. This one, I don't know what to think about it. It's just a floating platform, which doesn't have much special about it, but it does have the clamping jaws in the front, so that's a nice bonus there. Oh, there are eyes. Okay, I just noticed the eyes, so this is meant to be like a monster or something with a main cannon on it. That's great. I think we've seen a little bit worse than this, but again, quite well made. I could not make a clamping jaw because I'm stupid with command blocks. So let's see what else there is to offer. Now we have something simply known as the cauldron. I just blew out my mic there. I am very, very sorry. So let's see how this thing works. It's obviously a ship. It's on round barrels, it looks like. Oh, are these logs? Are these meant to be logs, and this is a floating platform of a cauldron? Wait, there was something... Okay, there's a broom with it. Excuse me, what are you? Are you a guided missile broom? Because that'd be frickin' cool. I'd like to see a guided missile broom. That'd be quite funny. I was expecting like a stirring spoon or something, but that works as well. Oh, that's cool. Different levels of smoke generation to make it look like it's a boiling pot. Now this one is very, very empty. The only weaponry here are these tiny, tiny little guns, which I guess go down in, yeah, they go down into that. So, interesting design. Not one of my favorites, but the cauldron is very well made. So, yet again, kudos to whoever made this. And guided missile broom, it has to happen now. Now we have something known simply as the tombstone. This one looks like something the twin guard would... Nope, it's made with glasses, so it's not floating gun systems. But okay, that's a nice face. That's just fantastic, and there looks like there's teeth everywhere. I think that's what where the aesthetic was going for here. Looks like we have some strapped-on missile launchers. This thing is not going anywhere fast with how horribly undynamic. The hydrodynamics of this thing are just terrible. But what we like is the aesthetic of it, and this one has a really, really cool looking, I guess, setup. It's got 3 main guns, an interesting face with missiles, and then even more missiles down there. So, again, cool designs. I'm liking this. This event is quite cool. The second to last vehicle is simply known as the Vlad. Oh, it's like a torpedo boat, but cool. Oh, it's got really, really long torpedoes. Those are actually quite scary. Except they look like they turn horribly. Oh well. But the bat, that's what we're here for. The aesthetic of things. Absolutely no combat use, the bat, but very, very cool looking. So again, quite nice. Kudos to whoever built this. I'm loving these. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, lag storm! With a pumpkin oh! Does this take a pumpkin? Oh god, now I'm even more scared of this little torpedo boat. Alright, last one before the lag storm takes me, we have a witch hat. Which looks like something that belongs in the sky, so I put it up in the sky. Okay, it's just an upside down witch hat with a very interesting inside. Is this just a giant... Oh, do things pop out of this? Sorry for the lag, by the way. There's not much I can do about it right now, and I'm just wanting to get this done with. Okay. I don't know how this thing works. I don't know what altitude it's meant to spawn at, but it looks like it's fine with what it's doing right now. So again, this one's very interestingly made. I mean, the witch hat could be rounder, but I am not going to nitpick over tiny little things in this. So, I guess there we have it. As the witch hat lags and sinks into the water, we have covered everything the Halloween event has to offer. So, I mean, what do you guys think about this event? I think it's really cool. I think it allows people to have their creative side instead of their technical side, which goes for the best ship you can make. You have the side that makes the coolest ship you can make. So my personal favorite was the ghost ship, but please leave comments to inform me what you guys thought was the coolest. But anyways guys, that is all the time I have for this little event. So, a little bit of things to mention before I go while it's still lagging. I'm sorry for the laggy footage in the background. Let's actually spawn in. Let's do something to have in the background. So we're gonna bring in my favorite here. So there we go. So, little things to mention. I am now, in fact, on social media. So if you guys like knowing what I'm doing, if you guys just want to talk to me, I have a Twitter now. It should be in the description below. And there's also the Steam community. So that one is a little bit small right now. I'm kind of sad about it. But that one is also in the description. So if you guys want to find out how to talk to Dim, those are the 2 ways as of now. But anyways guys, again, that is all the time I have for this episode. So, as for now, DimAurora signing off, and happy Halloween.